So when they pulled that mask back, the literal last person I ever thought would be revealed was Robert Downey Jr. So the news is out. At San Diego Comic-Con this year, they revealed that Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU, not as Iron Man, not as the superior Iron Man, not even as Tony Stark. He is coming back as Victor Von Doom, our new and original Doctor Doom in the MCU. Now, when they revealed that Robert Downey Jr. was coming back, that was literally the last role that I thought he would be coming back in. I thought he'd be coming back as a variant of Tony Stark. I thought he'd be coming back as the superior Iron Man. I was even imagining like a very specific scene of Tony Stark, coming through a portal or something like that, and everyone's like, "Oh, whoa, Tony, you're back!" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, no worries, guys." And then they all turn around and he like stabs them in the back because he's actually superior Iron Man and he's like an evil variant. I don't know. That's what I thought they were gonna do, but no, they're actually bringing him back as a completely different character, and I am all on board for that because they're actually using the multiverse in the way that I would imagine that they should be using the multiverse, which is bringing back familiar faces, but in completely different roles. And if you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, there's no spoilers yet. I know that movie literally just came out, so I'm not going to try to spoil anything. But the use of the multiverse in that movie was exactly what I've been wanting to see in the MCU in this multiverse saga. And the way that movie just did that while honoring true to different things, it's really good. So again, no spoilers for that movie. There'll be a different spoiler video on that soon. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is back. And so what I'm imagining is going to happen, because during the San Diego Comic-Con Hall H event, they also talked about other things like Captain America Brave New World. They also talked about the Fantastic Four First Steps. That is the official name for the Fantastic Four movie. And they also showed some footage, apparently, as well. But they're also starting production in like a couple of days. So I don't know exactly what they were showing. But yeah, what I think is going to happen with Tony Stark being the Doctor Doom, I think that he is going to be Doctor Doom in that movie. So I don't know if Fantastic Four is going to be like an explicit origin story, like straight from the beginning, showing them not with powers, then getting getting into the spaceship and then getting their powers, and then them, adapting to figuring out how to use their powers and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to go that far back in the origin, or if they're just going to be like literally their first steps. Like maybe they just got their powers, maybe 5 minutes into the movie they have their powers, and they're just kind of getting their first steps and learning how to work together as a team. Maybe they have a little bit of experience under their belt, but in the midst of all this, Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, is also in his first steps of, really utilizing his powers and things like that. And so if he is going to potentially be either the villain of Fantastic Four, or if he's going to be kind of set up in that movie, I think that'll be really cool to see Robert Downey Jr. in that first role of Doctor Doom. Like, just to see him there, I think would be really interesting to just see that for the first time. Now, apparently they did also show Galactus, and they did confirm that Galactus is going to be the giant cosmic entity that he is in the comics. Well, really a size manipulating thing, so he can sometimes be big, sometimes be small. That's besides the point. But it is cool that he's not going to be a cloud like they did, back in the old days there. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting and unique to see not Tony Stark, man. I mean, that's how good of an actor he is, that he's just so like synonymous with like Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark in the same breath. But it's going to be great to see Robert Downey Jr. come back in that role, come back in the MCU, but in a completely different role, and really own that. So if you didn't know, Victor Von Doom is one of the biggest villains in like all of Marvel. Like, he is one of the core characters in Secret Wars, which I am really glad that they are doing this now, because when they originally talked about announcing Avengers Secret Wars, it was the movie before that was going to be Avengers Kang Dynasty, and there was no talks about Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, coming into the MCU. And he plays a very key role in the Secret Wars comics, back in the day, however, 10 years ago, 8 years ago at this point. And so, yeah, like the fact that they're actually, what it seems like going to be doing is adapting the Secret Wars comics a little bit truer to legend now. I'm really excited about that. Now, the one thing that I am cautious about is that they need to do a proper buildup of the deep tension and animosity between Reed Richards and Victor Von Doom, because a lot of Secret Wars in the comics and just the complex narrative of Doctor Doom being this God Doom being, basically, and him having to still struggle to deal with Reed's intellect, and his just the fact that he's alive just like really threw him off. If you haven't read that comic, I don't want to spoil way too much about it, but that was a really important narrative theme in that storyline. And so what I want to see is that they really take their time to build up that relationship, that direct just animosity, like I said, between Reed and Victor. And so I want to see what that's going to look like with Robert Downey Jr. now as Victor Von Doom and Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. And I still don't quite know how I feel about Pedro Pascal. If you feel any type of way about him, not necessarily being in the MCU, but like specifically being Reed, let me know in the comments if you have any like strong feelings about it, because I don't know, I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts about it, but that's besides the point. So again, it'll be really fun to see them build that just relationship between the two. And if they can really pull that off, for there to be a big emotional payoff in Avengers Secret Wars, I think it's going to be really awesome. Now, Avengers Doomsday, I was about to say Kang Dynasty. Avengers Doomsday, I think, is set for 2026 release. And then Avengers Secret Wars is set for 2027. So that's literally, at this point, 3 years from now is when we're going to see this big emotional payoff between Victor and Reed. And then obviously everything going on in the Secret Wars storyline. And I almost feel like that's like not enough time. I almost feel like that's like, you know, like a little bit, like I would personally like to see Avengers Doomsday come out, which also is a really dope name for the movie. But I would love to see that. And then maybe like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, just to help, you know, build that relationship and flesh it out a bit more. But who knows? I mean, maybe they're going to, you know, introduce these characters in a different way, and, you know, maybe the payoff will, I don't know how they're going to do it, but the fact that they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. shows that they're recognizing their original plan for the multiverse saga is not quite panning out the way that they had wanted it to be. You know, not to say that the whole thing with Jonathan Majors and that kind of stuff like played a major factor in it. I mean, it kind of did, but I think that even if Jonathan Majors didn't have all of that stuff going on, the story and how they were presenting the different things going on in phases 4 and 5 so far, it wasn't working. I don't think that there's people that, like, you know, are like really gung-ho saying that, oh, phase 4 and 5 are literally perfect and they're way better than phases 1 through 3. I don't think that there's a whole lot of people really standing and trying to die on that hill. And so I think that Marvel's recognizing that, and they're realizing that, you know, maybe they should, you know, pull from things that they know work, and that they will reincorporate that and bring things in from the past that they know work, like Robert Downey Jr., but also incorporate that into a more comic accurate storyline, which is Secret Wars, and actually having Doom be in Secret Wars, because that originally wasn't going to happen. So, at least as far as we know. And again, the movie that was going to be Avengers Doomsday was Avengers Kang Dynasty, and that literally had nothing to do with Secret Wars. And so they were very clearly going to like lead into Kang having something to do in Secret Wars and potentially kind of like replace Doctor Doom's position. At least that's how it was perceived to me when they like released all of the, you know, the different movies and the orders that they were going to be doing. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really hoping that they pull off the complexity that Victor has in his character. And I have no doubt in RDJ's performance as an actor. But I am just hoping that things get fleshed out properly, and that Reed is done properly, and that I was gonna say Tony Stark again, Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom is done properly. And so I'm really hoping that, especially with the importance of Victor Von Doom in the Marvel ethos, I'm hoping that just like how Robert Downey Jr. is synonymous with Tony Stark, I'm really hoping that he will become synonymous with Victor Von Doom. And if he can like replicate that kind of just like innate success just in his like everyday interactions and things like that, like just like I said, how he's like so synonymous with the character, I think it's going to be really fascinating to see that replicated and done twice, because I don't think there's very many actors that can own a role like Robert Downey Jr. has as Tony Stark, and if he can do that again as Victor Von Doom, I don't think there's very many actors that can own something like that twice. That's like catching lightning in a bottle twice. So I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about Robert Downey Jr. coming into the MCU again as a completely different character, but as such a vital and important and incredible character with an incredible legacy. Let me know down in the comments what you think about it. And also let me know what you think about Kang Dynasty just like being confirmed that it's not a thing anymore and that we're going to get a Doomsday, Doom-centric movie. I would love to hear what you think down below. Now make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on what's going on in the MCU. We'll be covering that here on the channel, and I will definitely be giving you my thoughts on Avengers Doomsday, Fantastic Four, Captain America Brave New World, Avengers Secret Wars, everything going on in the MCU, and also stay tuned for that Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler video. That'll be coming out soon. Make sure to check on either of these two videos flashing on the screen here, and I'll see you in those videos. Peace.